Welcome back to another episode of the Erickson Brothers Podcast. My name is Jeff Erickson. I'm your co-host today, coming to you from sunny San Diego, California. I'm here with my older brother, Matt. And on this podcast, we talk about the five F's: faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. And we're coming to you as two guys that are just recently starting our career. They're figuring out life, right? We're in the thick of it. We're in the heat, and we're just trying to figure out how we can go about growing in all areas of our life and dominating in all areas of our life. So we have this podcast to do just that and to show you an in-depth look on some of our life's topics. So that being said, Matt, how you doing? How's everything going, man?
Good, good. I had my longest vacation in over 7 months last week. So I took 3 days off and I went skiing in Tahoe with some friends and had a great time. Got to do some things I'd never done before. And yeah, we can talk more later. But I know you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, uh real quick, what was your highlight of Tahoe? And I mean, I've never been there before. I couldn't even
Mhm.
really tell you where it was if you asked me. But what was
It's
your
in
favorite?
California. It's in the state you live in.
Okay, but like, is it? I know Big Bear is pretty close to San Diego. Is it like middle of state? Is it southern? Like,
Uh,
where is it?
it's 45 minutes from Reno, so it's northern part, and it's about 4 hours from San Francisco.
Got it.
So it's on the border pretty much. Tahoe itself is split between Nevada and
Oh, okay, cool.
California.
Oh yeah, because the lake, there's some property that is on the Utah side and some property on the California side of the lake, right?
Nevada side, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I know I've actually heard about that because some people don't want to have to pay the California taxes. So,
Mm.
like the value of the property on the Nevada side is much more valuable just because you have that state cutoff where you don't have to pay as many taxes.
Oh, interesting. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I think we were on the California side. But yeah, so my highlight was the skiing itself was bonkers. Like I definitely skied some of the steepest stuff I've ever done before, so loved that. Uh, and just being able to push myself in that way and ski with some great skiers. We went backcountry skiing one day, which you put on backcountry skis and then you hike up a mountain with your skis on, and then you clip them in to your downhill mode, and then you ski down. So that was incredible.
Well, I've never done that before.
It was, yeah. So I hadn't done that before either. I cross country skied a lot and downhill skied a lot, but backcountry skiing was its own thing. So we had the beacon and the shovel for avalanche and the probe. So because we're just out in nature skiing, so you got to be prepared. And I was definitely tagging along. The friends I was with ski and do that a lot. So had a great time. The skiing was amazing, weather was amazing, and then I also got to try monoboarding, which is just you're skiing down the mountain on one ski with your feet clipped in together. So uh, just very very challenging and hard, but it it was refreshing too to be able to try something completely new and learn it. And that doesn't happen a lot. So it was just a fulfilling experience.
Cool. Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
It's like a snowboard, but just riding it differently.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you're facing. It's definitely closer to skiing because you're facing down the mountain, and then your boots are clipped into one spot. Uh,
Mhm.
so
Got it. What do you
it
think
was
you think you'd be able to do it without poles?
no, no. There were a few times where I was turning and then I'd be like double pulling, double pulling, double pulling, trying to keep myself up. And then one thing is like whenever you turn, the board wants to continue to turn. So if the first few times I did it, you turn and then you just like keep turning and turning and turning, and then eventually
Right.
you're going backward and then you'd fall. Um, so it's really hard to keep the nose of the board down the mountain at all times. And everything that they teach you in skiing on how to turn and form and things like that, you just have to do on another level on monoboarding, because you're not able to spread your feet out and balance. It's all just flow with
Mm.
the bottom of your legs. Um, so I guess that the one thing that the main takeaway from it was just trying new things, and how rarely I do that, and I just the importance of appreciating, like a lot of my friends do monoboarding and they're very good and they're going down double blacks and they're doing crazy things on the monoboard, and I can do that on skis, but I tried one black on the monoboard and it was not pretty. So just the importance of like trying new things for me was big, and then the importance of just knowing where people have skills that I don't have, and it just being so obvious, especially that first turn, that first run down, I fell probably 10 or 15 times, uh, and just being able to get back up and keep going. So a lot of like life lessons, I guess, in it too.
Yeah.
So
Skiing can definitely be frustrating for if you aren't used to it. There's a lot of failure. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, the monoboarding was tough, and then we were skiing down the steepest stuff I've ever done. So just kind
Yeah.
of shredded through that, and
Good
it was
stuff.
awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mhm.
Well, first topic today is, I know one thing that you've done a lot recently is having conversations with executives and CFOs and CEOs and people that are higher up in companies. And I guess my first question is, what's the importance of kind of reaching up to people that are at a higher position in you, and then like being able to listen and take advice from them? Like, what would you say the importance of that is in a career?
Mm, mm. I would say that there's the overarching thing that I've found in just friends that I have that are 10 to 15 years older, or people that I work with that are 20 to 30 years older, or whether I know them in a professional setting or know them through church or basketball or whatever it is. It's just the importance of like pushing patiently. And I heard that on a podcast recently, and just the importance of pushing patiently, and knowing that there's a lot to learn from these people, and there's a lot to learn from good things they've done, bad things they've done, where their interests are, where you maybe have different interests, but knowing that like the things that they're doing are attainable for you to be doing in a few years. You just need to keep pushing patiently, and have that hunger, but also have the patience for it. So just it's tough because you want to be doing cool things and leading deals and doing bigger deals and bigger deals, but uh, what I've learned from them, in whether they're in banking or law or have founded their own companies, it's just the importance of pushing patiently and maximizing the each day and each week. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So in regards to like some tangibles, what does pushing even mean? Like, what's an example of pushing in a career?
I think the one thing that I've taken in my career so far is don't leave anything that can be done today for tomorrow. Um, and just checking all the boxes that I can today, and then tomorrow will have its own issues, but not leaving anything for tomorrow. that can be done today.
Mm,
So that might be, and I think a lot of the times it's just like putting in that last few minutes of it with attention to detail and sending that document out, and um, maybe reading a little bit more, writing a little bit more, or making sure your inbox is completely clean before logging off for the night. Um, and I would say that that push is it's tough because there's other things to do in life, but definitely in work, it's important to or I've found it's been beneficial to do everything I can today. Um,
mm,
Secondly, with pushing patiently, just having I think the patience part is just having the perspective and asking the questions in order to draw out every single piece of information you can from a certain situation. Because I think I didn't know the questions I should be asking to start when I started. Um, I didn't, we've talked about this, but I didn't even know what I didn't know. And now I'm aware of what I don't know, and I'm asking about it. And
mm.
I want to learn that. But it took some foundational knowledge for me to even ask the right questions. And
So is it like on like a, because like I know, for example, you were talking to with a CEO of a, was it a private equity company or was it like a, was it an industrial company? I know you were mentioning you were talking to the CEO recently. Is that correct?
um, I've been talking to a few, but um, so I don't know what you're referring to in
Well,
particular.
I'll ask a question. Is it something to where it's like you have questions for them to where it's like you're looking for something specific out of the conversation, or is that like you're
Oh,
just trying to get to know them and like you're introducing yourself and like
I would
that
say
simple?
mostly the questions I have are not for people at other companies. They're for people at my company. Um, Trying to accomplish like in the on the deal team that I'm on or whatever, just having um because as the junior on the deal team, there's going to be multiple people ahead of you. So all those people are going to have more experience and know more and be able to reference other deals that they've done and know what's going right or going poorly. So the importance of asking like the direct seniors in the organization.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think one thing that I've learned a lot from like having a coach in business or like having like a mentor, so to speak, is like they can see the game from like the press box. Like they can see the battlefield from the bird's eye view and they can kind of understand what the next steps are. Because they've either been there themselves in that career path or they can just know they can have context on your situation. So I think it's helpful not just having somebody like one step ahead of you, but like having someone like 10 steps ahead of you that can see everything, that can be like, okay, here's how you take these steps, and these are the people you got to
Yeah.
talk to, and these are the, this is the process.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have somebody somebody one step ahead of you and somebody 10 steps ahead of you and somebody 100 steps ahead of you,
Mm,
because you're going to be able to learn something different from each of those people. um, so I'm not necessarily asking the 28-year-old the same questions as I'm asking the 40-year-old, um, but there's definitely valuable information from both of them. So both are good.
cool. I like that. I like that. How do you know someone is like a how do you know someone is a good mentor, like a good coach, right? Because like I mean,
Oh.
there's a lot of different people that might not have our best interest in mind, or actually like might not actually understand what it is that we're trying to achieve, or like
Mhm.
how do we know if somebody's actually a good coach for what it is that we're looking for? specifically
Yeah.
business or career wise?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing to keep in mind too is that like no one person is going to be the perfect coach or the perfect mentor or the ultimate authority in these things. Like I think the ultimate authority we have on this earth is the authority to God and authority to uh, our relationship with Jesus Christ. And there's always going to be people that we look up to with flaws, and they might not have our best interest in mind, but we know we're not serving them. We're serving uh, our Lord and Savior, and I think that that helps me and know that like sometimes like it might suck, but we need to have that eternal perspective. I think that in order to know if somebody's a good mentor or a bad mentor, um, it can be as easy as are they currently at where you want to be? Um, that could be in their family, it could be in their job, in their fitness, and and then also recognizing that lots of people get to the destination in lots of different ways, and you're not going to be a cookie cutter version of what they did. Uh,
Yeah.
so there's no like black and white answer,
Well, I
but
think I've heard this interesting thing that like you want a mentor to have three things, right? You want them to have the experience, right? Just like what you said, like you want them to be where it is, like you want them to be living the life you want to be living, making the money you want to be making, at the career you want to be living. So you want them to have experience. You want them to have shared values, right? Because let's say they have the experience, but they don't value their faith like you do. They don't value treating people right. They don't value integrity, right? So
yeah.
it's like you need them to have shared values so that when they're coaching you, they're not telling you to like cut corners or, do it the wrong way, right? Um,
Mhm.
and I think the third thing is they have to have like context on your situation, right? Not a lot of people do. And I think it's like not like you mentioned, not everyone's like a cookie cutter, like actually understanding what it is that you're going through and like
Mhm.
where you're at. And to give context is like that can take a long time, and it's obviously pretty in depth for somebody to know like, where exactly you are in life to actually help you
Mhm.
with where that is. So
That's good. I
yeah.
think that just you can think about in what you're saying, like if you're trying to get from point A to point B, right? The mentor will help you get there. You need to know the point B, which would be your first thing, like the
Mhm.
experience and where they are at in life with faith or their professional career. That's point B. Then the shared values would be getting from point A to point B, right? You don't want to get to point B if it's going to cost you if it's illegal or it's going to cost you friends and relationships that you value. It might cost some relationships, but um, sometimes in order to get to point B, you need to make those decisions, and not everybody is coming along for the ride. But anyway, and then lastly, if they have context, that is knowing where you are in point A.
Mm.
So I think that that's really good because in order to get from point A to point B, you need to know where you're at right now,
Yeah, I
point
mean,
A,
you
how you're
cover,
getting there, and then you also need to know what point B looks like. And that's all the things you said.
yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, all three are important, and it's not just finding somebody that's where you're at. It's like they gotta know the other stuff too. So, definitely something to consider for everyone out there that's looking for a strong mentor is like, find the person that lives that life or has that career or has that fitness or whatever it is that you're looking for, but then also kind of vet them a little bit in terms of like if the is the advice that they're giving me, is it going to be in my best interest, or is it like something that might serve them maybe? Or if it's like if it's is it something that might distract me from other priorities? So important stuff to factor in for sure. For sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I got another topic for you, and then I'll pass it back to you for topic number three. But topic number two, so I was in Cabo a couple weeks ago, and ran into this gentleman in the Cabo airport. I was waiting for one of my buddies before we went to the hotel, and just saw this guy, like he looked like mid 40s, like in shape, whatnot. On the back of his backpack, he had a hat, and on the side of the hat was a FCA logo. It had Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Mhm.
And we are in Cabo, Mexico, and I was like, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I'm like, hey, like I saw you have an FCA hat on the back of your backpack. Like, what's your involvement with FCA? And we were talking and whatnot. It turns out he's the regional director of FCA for San Diego. And I was like, awesome. Like I did athletes in action. I did young life all through college. I was like, I did FCA in high school, like youth ministry, and like faith is something that's really important to me. So we got talking for about 10 minutes, and at the end we exchanged our contact info, and he reached out about a week and a half ago because we wanted to like get together for coffee. So we got together for coffee, and he told me about an opportunity to be on the board of FCA for San Diego. And on the board, what that would look like is it's a monthly meeting, right? So it's a monthly meeting where there's like a devotion and like a Bible study aspect of it. You go over the financials for the county or like for the district, and then you go over what the upcoming events are and like how you can help the events and whatnot. And being a part of the board is that monthly meeting, and then also um, committing to a financial contribution as well. And so we met um, last week for coffee at Starbucks here in San Diego, and um, the first week of April, I'm I'm meeting the rest of the FCA board of San Diego and getting to know them and seeing if it'd be a mutual fit for me to take a position and start having my involvement with them, which would be really really cool. So, wanted to let you know of that conversation because it's something I'm excited for.
Wow, that's very cool. And um, how many people are on the board of
Yeah,
FCA San
it's
Diego?
I think more than seven, less than 15, like in that range.
Okay, that's a great number.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. And
And
obviously everyone he was mentioning everyone isn't able to make all of the meetings and whatnot. It's not able to make all the events, but um yeah, obviously they have a really strong group, and um I just think it'd be good. Like, I mean, the guy I met, he's just like you could tell he's just a really strong Christian, like
Mhm.
um, has two high school girls. They're both in sports. Like you can tell
Mhm.
he's a good father, and has a wife and spends a lot of time at his church. Leads a Bible study. Like just a really really good dude. And like I was like, man, it'd be fun to just have people in my life that are like that, that are older.
100,000%. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So, uh, along with the monthly meeting commitment, what are the actual events? What's an example? Like just a
yeah.
fundraiser, or like going to a high school and talking, or going to a college and helping
Yeah.
put on a
Well,
yeah.
so they did a couple things they did in the fall was after football games at like different high schools, they'd have a prayer and they'd have like a devotion on the football field after a football game. And some of the teammates from different teams would stick around before they would leave, and it'd just be like, like a 15-20 minute thing before the buses would head out. But it'd be like a devotion, it'd be a prayer, it'd be like a little talk. And that's something I think I'd really like. And high school football is a big part of that, my prior life in high school and whatnot, and I
Mhm.
just know how impactful that could be. One thing that's also cool is they have club sports that FCA actually runs. So they have teams.
Mhm.
They have FCA teams, which I didn't even know about. So they have like a FCA basketball team. They do like travel softball. They do travel baseball, and they have different teams that get people together and then do tournaments. Just go around California or go around, Southwest and do tournaments for travel baseball. So there's teams that FCA supports and FCA funds and they put on and whatnot. And then obviously the high school and the middle school clubs So a lot of different things that they do, and I'm obviously still getting to know what that looks like. But I think it'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, just doing a couple times a month and being able to kind of pour into
Mhm.
people that way, and obviously learn what it looks like to, I don't know, just be giving back in a different way.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think the a few things that I am thinking about now from that is just one, your uh proactiveness to go up to him and then answer the call when he called upon you. And both of those things not a lot of people do, which is unfortunate, but the ability to go up to him and then um answer the call when he calls upon you is pretty incredible. Um and I think just the opportunities in life that you will continue to have from just following those two things is pretty cool. Um, and it's just like you turned a an afterthought, the afterthought of, oh, FCA hat, that's cool. You turn that into, hey, I'm gonna go up to him, which takes um, courage and active thinking and like, taking action, and then you're able to um, uh, turn the idea and a question into an actionable response. So just recognizing that their life is full of opportunities like that. Um, Not necessarily to be on a board of FCA, but I think in life to just say, oh, like I'm getting a sense from the Lord, like, hey, like I'm gonna I'm gonna check in on this person today, or I'm going to um, have an intentional conversation with this person, and just leaning into those thoughts and turning them into actionable things because you never know what's going to come from that. Um, like the the house I was in this past week with skiing was just a three friends who said, "Hey, this would be cool," and then they went and did it, right. They turned that actionable, they turned that thought into an actionable thing, and now they have this incredible place to go ski every weekend and commute back and forth from SF to Tahoe, and uh just turning like just maximizing life really, and not letting those afterthoughts just go away. And some of the people that I met through the this house that we were staying at, just secondary friends of mine. Um, they are they started their own search fund, and they're just tech bros out of San Francisco. But they had this idea we should start a search fund. So now they're looking at businesses, and they put in an offer on one 2 weeks ago, and the LOI expired yesterday, so I should figure out if they won the business or not. But just turning like them, they said, "Oh, this would be something cool to do. We should be buying businesses. We should be buying maybe it could be rental property, or we should be going on these trips, or we should be talking to these people like that." Just turning all these all these thoughts into actionable items, and then just responding with yes. I think that another takeaway from what you're saying, and then from my past week and just in general, is the the ability to maximize life, right? Um, and what small decisions can lead to in just a life that's full of joy and gratitude and amazing relationships, and it comes from making those small decisions, and it's really cool. So I'm glad you're doing that. I think this is one example of how you and how other people and how myself can recognize these thoughts that we have and just learn of what the possibility could be. Um, so that's really great.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of like just having your radar out, just like noticing something that could be like, oh, cool, like
Mhm.
that's something I recognize, right? That's a church I've gone to. That's my former college baseball logo or whatever. Like, oh, let me talk to that person. Like maybe we could just strike up a good
Mhm.
conversation, and
Mhm.
it wasn't necessarily that I was looking for FCA, but like
Yeah.
like faith is important to me, and I saw that and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Like that part of my life is now in this part of my life, like they're almost like coming together. Like I'll see what this guy's all about, and I think
Mhm.
it could lead to something that's pretty cool. And you know um I've been looking for a way in which I can be able to, contribute and have something I can give to that I'm obviously passionate about and something that I believe in and whatnot. So, and that's what I told the guy too over coffee. I was like, man, you don't have to sell me on FCA. Like, I know you guys are a good company. I know it's good people. I was like, I believe in what you guys do. I'm like, I just want to know more information on how I can get involved. And he was letting me know. And again, first week of April, I'm joining this board meeting and introducing myself to some people hopefully that I'll know for a very long time. But
Yeah. Yeah. This and I think just just pouring into this opportunity and the relationships you have with the people on the board and the people you meet, the high school football players um, that you will meet, and whatever opportunity is, I think it's just really important to continue to see this through. So um, my suggestion would just be to ask God for discernment and prayer. And this seems like a very clear yes. Um, but just pray about what he can, what it would look like for you to maximize this opportunity.
mhm,
Because people sit on boards and don't do anything, right? Like
right,
just
they write a
like
check. That's
like
it.
this you don't want to get into this habit of just checking the box of saying, oh God, I'm good because I give this amount of money and I am on this board. But I think just continue to keep an open ear and an open eye for how to maximize this opportunity. um I think the uh when so eh, the guys that I go to Bible study with, one of them, his name is Rohan, and every year since college he's had the Rohan Invitational. And it's a golf tournament in somewhere in the South, and he invites a bunch of people, and there's four foursomes that go play golf. Um, so this was the first year I got the invite. I'm not able to go that weekend, but a few of my friends in my age got the invite too, and it was their first year they were invited, and they were unsure about going, and they were like, "Oh, it's a lot of money. It's a big weekend. Like, is it really worth it to go play golf for 3 days?" And my suggestion was to them was like, you guys should be doing everything you can to be spending as much time as you can with the people in this Bible study. They're all older, they're all incredible Christians and have done well. And like the not not clearly defined mentors, but like the men that I know through this thing are definitely informal mentors where we're meeting on a weekly basis, and they're just pouring into me and pouring into other people through a Bible study, and it's just an incredible thing, and it's made my New York experience amazing. But the encouragement to just like, hey, there's relationships in our lives that we should cultivate and maximize, and we should be doing what we can to maximize those relationships. So they heard what I was saying, and they're gonna go. Um, so I'm bummed I can't go, but uh that was my similar takeaway from what you were
Yeah,
saying.
cool. Good stuff. Good
Mhm.
stuff. Awesome. Wonderful. What I'm gonna pass it back to you. Any final topics on your mind? Anything that you wanna bring up as topic number three?
No, I think we've talked a good amount here, and I think that we've covered a lot. But
Yeah,
um, so I think I've shared my piece and um, just continue to voice that um, how we think about these things now may not be how we think about them 10 years from now. Um, and the only podcast that doesn't know what we're talking about. So I think just the um, yeah, continuing to say like, oh, we maybe we should do a podcast. Oh, what are we going to talk about? Well, we've got lives, we can talk about that. And here we are, and we've been doing it for over a year now. And 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 the ability that I've enjoyed from it is just the intentional conversations,
mhm,
but being
for
open
sure.
about not, but being open about not really having um, a a clearly defined um, way to look at some of these things because we could be wrong. So
Yeah,
um,
and it tracks growth too. I think that's huge. Is like something that we share as a similarity is like we both want to be growing and we both want to be improving. And like one way to do that is through constant conversations. We can see how we're growing in life and we can see how our perspective grows and how our mindset changes. And um, obviously, as our life grows, we can reflect on our current life as well. And it's gonna make for a cool story to be able to look back on some of this stuff and um, track the whole process. Not many people have a like a video have a video journal almost a vlog of what their life looks like. So
going back.
anyway, I know you're coming out to San Diego coming up too. So I'm excited for
Yes,
that.
sir.
I think that'll be good. You get in next week.
Yeah, yeah, 4 or 5 days
When was the
next
last time
Wednesday.
you when was the last time you were in SD?
Hmm.
Before I came out here.
Yeah, definitely. It might have been while I was, oh, I remember. It was Christmas 2022. No, Christmas 2021, going into 2022. So
Yeah.
December of 2021.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I remember going to the high school to throw
Oh
against the
yeah.
net, and I was at Washington State, and I don't think I've been back since. So
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Cool. Well, yeah, we'll have next time we do a pod, we can reflect on some of the our conversations and some of the events that transpire. So,
yeah, yeah.
cool,
All
man.
right.
Hey,
Well,
well, have a good rest of your day. Peace out.
hmm
I'll see you next week.
yeah.